If you're brand new to oil infusions, this video is going to be for you. I'm going to talk about the supplies you need and give a couple helpful hints and tips. However, in this video, I'm only covering the double boiler methods. If you don't have a legit double boiler, which is a pot inside of a pot, then you can go ahead and make one at home with what you do have. You're just going to need a pot and a bowl that fits on top of it but doesn't go all the way into it. The bowl is going to need to be a heat-resistant glass bowl, but I do prefer these metal bowls. And you just add water right into your pot, but you don't want to put too much water because you want to make sure the actual water itself doesn't touch the bottom of the bowl. And it's easy to figure that out. You just put your bowl right on. If it comes out wet, then you have too much water. You can absolutely use fresh herbs. However, I do prefer to use dried herbs because they have as much water removed from them as possible. And where there's minimum water, there's minimum risk for bacteria growth. Because where there's water, there is bacteria. Water is the bringer of life. Today I am making a clove oil for me and my family, and I'm going to stick to a 1:5 ratio. And what that means is 1 part plant matter to every 5 parts of a carrier oil. So I've decided I want to use 10 ounces of oil. So therefore I'm going to weigh out 2 ounces of my dried cloves. 2 ounces. Before I infuse my dried herbs, I really do like to agitate them in a grinder and really get them ready to be infused. So I do use the bullet, but if you're using a bullet, you need to be extra careful because it will pulverize the herbs. So just a quick couple pulses really does the job. This is what they looked like before I grinded them, and this is what it looks like now. It's not a fine powder, it's pretty chunky. For my clove infusion, I've picked out 2 oils for myself, 5 ounces of each, adding up to 10 ounces total to really stick to that 1:5 ratio. I have 5 ounces of a olive oil here. I'm gonna add it right into my ground plant matter. And then I have 5 ounces of a delightful black seed oil. And I'm gonna add that right into it as well. Give it a little stir, make sure it's mixed up well. I use a separate burner for my heat infusions, but you can go ahead and do it on your stove top. So we have our pot full of water, and we're just going to put the bowl right on top of it. And there's 2 ways that you can do this. You can either heat it slowly for 12 to 24 hours, or you can do a rapid heat method. I'm gonna do a slow heat infusion for this one. That means I'm going to regulate this temperature at 100 degrees. And I'm going to let this oil infusion infuse for 12 to 24 hours. For this particular one, I am going to do 24 hours. And it's really important that we do a good job regulating the temperature. And to do that, you're gonna need a thermometer of some sort. And I use my little laser heat gun. It works fantastic. I wanted to do a rapid heat infusion. I would crank up the temperature to 140 degrees and I would let it infuse for 2 to 4 hours. Personally, I would want to do the 4 hours, but some people do opt to do 2. There's so many different ways to do these techniques, and you really just have to experiment and find what works for you and what your preferred methods are. When you've infused for the proper amount of time, you're gonna wanna do a good strain. You can go ahead and do that through cheesecloth or like a muslin bag. But after you've strained it, you wanna set it aside for 24 hours so that the plant matter that's left over can sink to the bottom. And then you're gonna give it a second strain. And we're gonna do this to really lower the risk of bacteria. Some people even go ahead and do a 3rd strain after letting it sit for another 24 hours. And we want to get all the plant matter out because where there's plant matter, eventually there's going to be bacteria growth. Hugs and love. I hope this was helpful, and have a blessed day.